Sup Tankers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today we are in the T-62A Tier 10 Soviet medium tank. Fantastic machine, and if you guys watched my videos in the past, you know that I really love this tank. Actually, I have a few favorites at Tier 10, this being one of them. So, today's episode, space versus unicoms. So, as you guys know, and you probably already noticed that I haven't been posting videos for a while. I just don't play this game as often as I used to. It just doesn't draw me as much anymore. But every time I come back to this game, I run into situations when I am facing unicom players on the opposite side. And in this game in particular, I normally go and check the team list at the beginning just to see who's there, because over the years I've gotten to know players in this game, and some of them are really good, and you know, they're easily recognizable. But in this match I didn't do it. I actually didn't go back, didn't check the team list. I was just, okay, let's go. Anyway, let's stop this here for a little bit. I just wanted to show you something quickly for those that don't know. So as you notice here, I have spotted two tanks coming up the hill, and you can see on top right hand corner it says XP +2, and it looks like someone damaged the heavy tank that's right in front of me right there for 316 HP. Yet I'm not getting any assisted damage. Why? Why am I not getting assisted damage? And I think many of you might be asking this question, especially new players. Might be asking, why? Why is space not getting assisted damage? Now it's +4. You see I have 4 spots and no assisted damage. And there's a simple explanation for that, actually. This is not the game doing something weird or whatever. This is a simple explanation. So you see in position D8 there is another T-62A, and in that T-62A there's another Super Uni, and his view range is really good, probably because his crew is decked out just like mine. So even though I picked up the spots early, he was the one shooting at these guys, and the reason why I didn't get assisted damage was because his view range was good enough to detect these guys. So if it was within his view range and he did the damage, then I'm not getting assisted damage. If it was somebody else shooting, let's say that TD at D8, then the assisted damage would be split between myself and Hef. And he's in T-62A, currently sitting at D8. I already mentioned that. So anyway, we've taken very aggressive position here, and as you noticed, like, we are very much outnumbered. What you're gonna see me do is try to stay undetected for as long as possible, and yet try to spot these guys close to our enemy's base, because there's probably TDs. There's usually TDs sitting in areas D2, somewhere around there. So I was hoping I can get them spotted, like this Yakpanzi 100, and that shot does not come off, unfortunately. But the problem is that they have 2 arties, and those arties are actually looking in this direction, which is problematic. So we cannot stay in the open here very long. We're gonna have to get the hell out. I got spotted here. I didn't realize that the opposition medium tank pushed all the way up to A8, and that's what was spotting me. So now I'm gonna have to get the hell out, because I know arties are already looking at me, because they missed me earlier, so I know they're looking at me for sure. So we're gonna drop back into this position here. Now normally when I would make that aggressive play early on this map, it would get me a lot more spotting damage than I have right now. So I'm sitting here with 126 spotting damage, 218 induced damage. That's nothing, and that's problematic. If you have other Super Uni players on your team, they might steal that damage, or they might steal that assisted damage from you. But anyway, we're gonna remain here because that's a safe position. We have support from the back. I really want to get some damage here, but I know if I overexpose, I'm going to get punished. Now, you notice RTD cresting the ridgeline right here? That's a big no-no, because that Yakpanzi 100 was just waiting there in order to annihilate someone poking up that hill. So I'm going to keep playing very safe here, because last thing I want is get myself out of the game right now. I'm maintaining full HP, which is fantastic. And now that the UNIs is dead, I can push up a little bit here to try to spot, to see if I can actually spot that Yakpanzi 100. It's frustrating that I cannot spot him. This is actually quite ridiculous, because Yakpanzi 100 is not a small tank, and I should be able to spot him. I know that there was STI here as well. So you can see me playing really cautious. We're going to try to see where he is, and we spot him right here. We're going to try to aim lower plate, then turret shot, but unfortunately he turns his turret, so we're not able to penetrate him. So what we're going to do here is we're going to track him, okay? And we're going to try to use our rate of fire to keep him in place. And let's stop it right here one more time. So I took one hit of damage, because I knew he was going to pin me anyway, and now we're going to keep him pinned. Now, I'm in the open area exposed to artillery right now, which is not a desirable thing. However, that dead wreck in front of me on the left-hand side will act as a spaced armor. Remember, artillery mostly fires HE rounds. Very rarely you have artillery players at tier 10 firing AP rounds. So I knew that I could use that wreck in front of me to protect myself from STI and also protect myself from any arty shells that would be coming in and trying to hit me. Now, if arty players were aiming their shots beyond my tank, closer to my right-hand side, then they would probably have better success of splashing and damaging me from that side. But because they're going to try to shoot right into my left-hand side, you'll see what happens. They're not going to draw a lot of damage from doing that. Here we go. So we're going to go behind this wreck, and we're going to keep tracking this STI. And yeah, we're going to side script off of it. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to drain him down in health. And he used up his repair kit, obviously, already, and he doesn't have it. So yeah, it should be very easy job for T62A to get him out of the game. Look at that. Arty hits the wreck. It doesn't cause any damage. And now we're going to get the hell out of Dodge. We're going to get out of here, and we're going to go behind the hill again. Into our safe spot. Right here. So take a look at this. We encountered so many opposing tanks. We were fighting STI. We had so many tanks that were on top of this ridge line. We had arty firing at us. We were in a really bad situation. And yet, we ended up alive. Not only that, but we still have 1500 HP. So, we were still good to go. And we literally almost won this flank. So at this point, I realized this is a good time to move up. I see Hef has moved up in the middle. And let's stop it right here for a split second. Just another point I want to make. So notice how Hef is sitting at location C4, while the opposing TD is sitting at location, what, C2? Between C2 and C3. And the reason why Hef is sitting at C4, there's a ridgeline there. We have TD and a heavy tank supporting this area from location D8. So he needs to be on the side of the ridgeline where those tanks in D8 can support him. So that way, if Jagdpanzer U100 wants to YOLO him, he's going to have to come into line of fire. Heavy line of fire. So that's, I just wanted to make that quick point for the ones that are trying to get better at the game. I mean, most of you guys probably already know this. Anyway, we got spotted here, so I didn't know where Arty was sitting, so you see me doing these weird turns, and I'm just trying to fool the Arty. I didn't know whether it was going to be shooting at me or not, and I wasn't sure exactly where the Arty was sitting. Now, it turns out the Arty is sitting right here. So we're going to put a shell into this guy here. You can see him moving. And I really wanted to finish him off, but then I realized that GW Tiger is looking at me. So we're going to have to take care of him first because, like, he's firing at me, right? We need to get him out of the game. I can't afford to die right here. And here I should have probably pulled further to the right, much quicker than this, so I can get some shots into the second Arty. But unfortunately, he manages to get away, and we won't be able to put any shells into him. That could turn out to be a bit of a mistake, but I really didn't know whether there was someone from behind trying to shoot me. Probably wouldn't be, but... Anyway, so Hef is pretty much engaging this Jagdpanzer 100 because he saw me coming around, so I'm gonna put some shells, freebies into him right here, and we're gonna keep on punishing him until he turns. And once he turns, we're gonna put a shell into his drive wheel, and then we lock him in place. And looks like he already used up his repair kit. So, yeah, RTD and our friendly T62A pretty much demolish him, take him out of the game. Now, at this point, I didn't know that the person in T62A was Hef. Like I said, I didn't look at the team list. I had no idea. I know who he is because I've seen him on the battlefield. He's a very, very good player. If you check out his stats, they're absolutely fantastic, and he's one of the better players in T62A as well. So here is where I noticed who it is. I'm like, ah, I know who this guy is. So I'm gonna have to drop here and try to support him. In case he gets pushed by the Skoda. I think it was the Skoda, right? sorry, TVP. Almost same thing, TVP. And it's Zactul. And I know that guy too. And I'm like, holy shit, how many more Unicums are in this freaking battle? So I have to be careful with him, I know. And I want to make sure that I support Half. That's the idea here. So I'm going to stick around here, but then I'm thinking, you know what? If TVP actually pushes Half, I want to be kind of in a situation where I present some crossfire. So that's what I'm going to try to do and get more from this side. Now I know I'm kind of isolating myself a little bit from Half, but I think I have enough HP. And this is where knowledge of the game comes in. TVP is an autoloader. It has average alpha about 300, maybe a little bit over 300. So even if he puts 4 shells into me, he won't be able to take me out of the game. So I know I could potentially take him 1v1, but I want to do it smart. Okay, let's pause it here for a split second. I want to do it smart. I know he's coming at me, and I want to put myself in the most beneficial position so that I can be successful. I know he's a good player, and he's probably going to put all 4 shells into me. But I still want to play to advantages of T-62A. And the way the Russian mediums are supposed to be played are in the low ground. Remember that, guys. Soviet tanks should be played in the low ground because that's how advantageous they are. Because if someone pokes over the ridgeline, you can actually track the tank and use your rate of fire in order to shred them. And besides, Soviet mediums really don't have much of gun depression, so you cannot play them on top of the ridge lines. So you have to use the lower ground to your advantage. So what we did here is we dropped into position where it's advantageous for me to engage Zactul. And what he's going to do, he's going to go over the ridgeline. And I think at this point he doesn't care. He just wants to take his damage and maybe damage me severely, maybe turn around and run away. Maybe that was his idea. But in order for them to win this game, they have to win this flank. So he has to push me at this point. And I understand why he's doing it. So let's roll it a little bit here. Stop it right here. So you can see this is perfect hold down position for me. I can see his turret. He can see my turret. I'm on low ground, so he's going to have to overexpose in order to hit me in my hull. My turret armor is strong, so he's going to have to overexpose. So let's roll it from here and see what happens. Yeah, I'm going to shoot his turret. It's weak. He managed to hit my upper plate, but now I'm going to wiggle. We're going to try to bounce at least one shot. We tried to track him there, but he repaired, so we're going to continue peppering him and basically taking the damage. That's all I'm trying to do. And there. He ran out of shells. He's on reload now. I can't let him escape. We're going to have to take him down. And now, just run away. Run away. We know the arty shell is coming. It is coming. It's going to be here any moment now. And we just want to survive. There we go. And we survived this encounter. So, Soviet mediums, guys. They're that little bit of armor, ability to bounce shells here and there, sometimes actually works in your favor. And the fact that it has such an incredible rate of fire, you are able to take on autoloaders such as TVP, even though TVP reloads pretty quick. But you still should be able to win that encounter. And that's what I did here in this situation. Now, at this point, I pretty much gave up on the game. I was like, okay, I'm never going to get to those kills. But little did I know that the position where Hef sits right now, he actually was getting shots of damage to there. And he's probably going to get a final kill from what I remember. I think he got the final kill. Yes, he did. So, if I was smarter, I should have gotten myself closer into the middle position to get some additional shots of damage. Regardless, I love these games, guys. These are not the highest damage games, but how satisfying is this? Running into super unis on the battlefield and still being able to pull it off as a top player on your team. That's absolutely fantastic. And games like this are the ones that are very fun. In many cases, I end up on the wrong end of the stick and, you know, I get killed. It happens. I mean, I'm not the greatest player out there. I'm super uni in some tanks. Regardless, I mean, you win some, you lose some, but these battles are so satisfying. And I thought this game was a perfect example so that kind of I can show you some of the things within the game that were very interesting and maybe would be good pointers for you guys. Now, let's take a look at the post-game stats, and here you're gonna see the team lineups. And this is where I kind of looked at the opposing team and I was like, whoa. Okay, so the opposing team had a super uni platoon. players 2, 3, and 4 on the opposite team. So this was kind of a close-ish game that we ended up pulling off. And at this point I was wondering, okay, what was the composition of both teams from win 8 perspective? And this is where I pulled out some stats, and I'm going to share them with you guys in a split moment here. There we go. So here you can see, basically what I did was I marked how good each player is. If you're not aware of what the win 8 scale is, if you can go on websites such as whatstars.com, you can actually look up everybody's stats on whatstars.com, and you'll be able to see what tanks they play, what tanks they're good at, what's their win 8 stats. So that's where I pulled it from, and these are 30-day stats. But anyway, if you look at the distribution of the players on each team, it looks like a very well balanced distribution. So we had 2 super unis on our team, they had 4, but we had more blue players on our team, they had less. There was a lot of green players on both sides, and then there was some mediocre players on each side. I think the teams were very well balanced. Which brings me to another point. If we actually ever had skill-based matchmaking in this game, it would have been absolutely phenomenal. I don't think that's ever going to happen because it's just the algorithm will be too difficult for them to kind of incorporate with everything else. But this just proves that best matchmaking would be skill-based matchmaking in this game. Well, anyway, like I said, never going to happen. This game is on its last leg. I don't know how much more time it's got. A lot of players, well, I guess there's a lot of new players in the game. A lot of older players have left. Too bad Wargaming wasn't listening to us back in the day as they're listening to the community right now. That disconnect unfortunately created too much of a gap from before to now. And the players that were lost and they're not in this game anymore, they're not gonna come back. It's just, I guess you move on, right? It's part of life. This has been a journey for me. I've been in the game for over 7 years now. Now it's kind of, I'm slowly getting away from it. So you're gonna see some videos from me from time to time popping up, but do not expect too much. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this channel going forward. As of right now, it still remains World of Tanks content for the foreseeable future. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it for now. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit, checking out.